Hello, everyone. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Amy Hewitt, or Amy Blood Moon Hewitt. That's my pen name. And I wrote a book several years ago, and I finally got it published. So I was wanting to give y'all a sneak peek of it and tell you guys where you could purchase it if you're interested in it. It's called A Remnant Rising. I know that's probably backwards, but the cover looks like that, and it's on Amazon. I publish it on Amazon KDP, self-published, and it's called A Remnant Rising by Amy Hewitt, and it's available on Kindle to order in a paperback and hardcover or hardback. So just if you're interested in it, that's where you can go purchase it. But I'm going to read a little bit of it to you today. All right, here we go. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continuously. Genesis 6:5, King James Version. Okay. Chapter 1. What did I just walk in on? After their wild tryst, she lay on the altar in the center of the pentagram. Chase placed 2 bowls fashioned from the tops of human skulls underneath Lauren's wrist to catch the blood that flowed in thick scarlet ribbons from the incisions that were made on her wrist. At first, he decided that he was just going to make shallow cuts that would only allow her to bleed out a little bit without killing her. But Lou had told him that he could either create life or take life for this ritual to yield its desired effect. He said either way would be powerful, but he told Chase that taking a life and offering a blood sacrifice would be even more potent. He did not really want to kill Lauren, but he figured that death would honor his familiar and his fellow dark spirits that would be accompanying him into this reality. Maybe he could at least get her close to death and then save her at the last moment. He was not quite sure how he was going to do it yet, so he decided to just play that decision by ear. If she died, it would be of little concern to him, since she was not the one he really desired to be with. She was not Lacey, his true queen, but she'd do plenty as a willing, submissive substitution. Lacey was his dark queen, his soulmate, and he couldn't change that if he wished to, because Lou had decreed it. So it must play out this way. He had already made up his mind that he was not going to lose her now. No, he wouldn't lose her. Not this one. Not this time. He was not about to allow her to walk away from neither the coven, her responsibilities as his woman, from Lou and his companions, nor most importantly him. All he really needed Lauren for was to impregnate her with his dark love child and for her sweet aromatic blood. This should please his dark lord plenty. By now he knew that Lou was really not the spirit of a 17th century European nobleman as he claimed he was, but was something entirely different, something dark and menacing, yet very powerful. Chase desired to please his dark lord and lavish him with whatsoever he desired of him, so that he did not lose his wealth, his power, and everything he had going for him at the moment. Most importantly, he did not want to lose Lacey. I mean, if Lauren did not die, that would certainly be a good thing. She could have his love child, who would undoubtedly grow up to be extremely powerful, and he would be a proud father nonetheless. He really desired Lacey to bear his child instead of Lauren. Lacey was his true queen, not Lauren. Although Lauren was hot and a very satisfying lover, she lacked the power, the talent, and the intellect that Lacey possessed. Lauren was powerful and intelligent too, but not even close to as powerful and as intelligent as Lacey was. But she would do for the time being in order to bear him a very powerful heir. But if Lauren did actually die, it would turn out just as well, or even better for him. Chase would soon find out the answer to that question. Chase had been growing increasingly more and more evil, arrogant, and narcissistic by the day. He realized that now, however, he welcomed it. Something was in fact changing him, making him more and more sinister instead of the gentle, laid-back, free-loving, nature-loving pagan he had always been. But he knew that sometimes change was not only necessary to achieve absolute power and absolute greatness, but should be welcomed in order to transcend into the realm of the gods, to rule supreme with them. That was exactly what was happening. He was transcending, and he knew that there was no turning back. So he must move forward. So move forward he would do, with absolutely no regret whatsoever. More and more of his spells had begun to work better and better, and he was getting more and more of what he desired, as he did not wish to stop now. He was becoming a god in his own right. Hadn't Lou promised that he would become a highly influential, powerful, and highly sought-after god who would reign over this ever-changing coven? Yes, he was going to be worshipped by hundreds, even thousands of women who would gladly bed him whenever and wherever. He knew that he would never have to sleep alone again, which he really did not even have to do that now, but he knew that if he were to achieve the goal of tonight's ritual, it would better guarantee that he never had to be lonely or celibate against his will ever again. He also knew that he could go at least a year without sleeping with the same woman twice if he so chose, unless, of course, he had Lacey back. He would still have his many other lovers, too, but he would have his dark queen back by his side where she belonged, keeping his bed warm for him. Lauren moaned on the altar, "Chase, I think you cut me way too deep. I am feeling very lightheaded and woozy about now, and I think you need to stop and get me to the hospital now, babe." She looked up expectantly at him and waited for him to reply. He gave her a loving smile in an attempt to reassure her before he answered her. "Relax," Chase cooed, brushing her hair out of her eyes as he spoke. "Just go with it. Nothing bad is going to happen to you, my love. Trust me," he assured her. "Have I ever allowed anything bad to happen to any of you since you all have been with me?" he asked matter-of-factly. With that, he checked the progression of the blood that was being collected in the skull caps below. Satisfied with what he saw, he shifted his eyes back to Lauren, fixing her with a blank stare. He always used to be so honest, direct, and to the point. Now lying was second nature to him. He knew that he could not guarantee anyone that anything bad would or would not happen to them, definitely. Especially when witchcraft and mischief were at play. It's just too unpredictable of a thing to be able to do so with 100% accuracy every time. If one tiny thing went wrong with a spell or a ritual, there could either be lasting success, safety, and a more abundant life, or there could be lasting, devastating results. Even death could occur. "But Chase," she gasped, "I did not sign up for this." She began wiggling and fighting against her restraints in a futile attempt to free herself. "Oh, but you did, my darling girl. You said you would trust me. You said you would do whatever I asked you to do in order for this ritual to be a success. So just trust me and go with it, okay?" Chase replied curtly. "I am not stopping this ritual for anything or anybody. I have been waiting for this moment for a long time, and I'm not about to put it off any longer for anyone, no matter what." "But, Chase, I may die. I am losing too much blood too fast," she said in a frightened, high-pitched tone as she increased her struggle against the ropes. "You cannot tell me that you do not care about me or whatever we have. I simply will not accept that." Chase bent down, kissing her head and stroking her hair lovingly. As she had stopped speaking, he smiled at her as he stood back. "I do care about you, Lauren. What we have is awesome, and I'd really like to keep it that way if I can. But sometimes you have to make sacrifices if you wish to move ahead, and the whole point of sacrifices is to give something up that you love or care about in order to gain bigger and better things. Just know that we all of our Dark Lords included, will appreciate your sacrifice, and you will be richly rewarded on the other side to rule with him very soon, Chase said as he stroked her hair. But his kind gestures and big winning smile were not seeming to match his cool, callous words. See, you are even going to beat me in ruling with his kingdom and his realm, because I have many, many years before I will finally be able to enter his realm. So just be satisfied with that honor that we are bestowing upon you. All the other members of the coven were positioned on their respective points of the pentagram as they were chanting the dark incantation that was supposed to accompany the ritual in Latin that had come out of their grimoire. But both bowls were filling up very nicely. Just as he was about to throw one of the bowls back and say the incantation, a man with a gun burst through the door of the smaller hidden chapel. He was also armed with a huge flashlight. This is where he had told him he would find the sorcerers doing their dark ritual to usher in Lou and his generals. What are you degenerates doing in here? Desecrating the house of God, are you? This is such blasphemy against the Lord God and his house, Felix bellowed, enraged as he stood just inside the doorway. Chase and the others regarded at him with surprised expression, and then the room erupted with laughter as the initial shock of his intrusion and his accusations wore off. Dude, this place was desecrated long before either you or I were even born. So what I am doing is not really desecrating it any worse than what has already been done here for over 100 years now. Chase laughed loudly, stepping away from Lauren and the altar towards the intruder. Leave at once, demanded Felix as he stepped further into the room towards Chase's direction. No, we will not leave. You leave. We were here first, Blaze hissed at Felix as he fixed him with a long, cold stare. This is a private ceremony. Actually, it's an invitation-only event, and we only sent invitations to the people that are in the room other than you. Even if we did send out invitations to spectators, it would not be to the likes of you. No one dared move after Blaze was done with his little outburst. Everyone held their breath and just wildly looked around the room, waiting to see what would happen next. Who are you, and why are you here, man? You do not belong here, Abigail loudly hissed menacingly at Felix. Who I am is really not all that important right now. However, I am a descendant of the line of ministers who once led the flock for almost 2 centuries until the church closed down over a century ago. I am the only male of my generation left in my family as of now. Well, if you do not want your family line to drastically end at this time, I would leave immediately, Sybil warned, with her hands on her hips. Oh, so you are one of those Jesus freaks then. Oh boy, this is about to get really fun, Chase laughed as he turned around to look at his coven. Lauren, in obvious pain and scared out of her mind, began to whimper like a wounded puppy. Please, sir, help me. She began to thrash wildly against the ropes in order to finally break free or for Felix to assist her in getting away from Chase and his band of idiot lunatics. Chase whirled around and glared at Lauren threateningly as he yelled at her. You shut up, you stupid bitch, Chase howled. I will not have you ruin this for me. Us, with your petty fears of death. Everyone eventually dies, so deal with it. I have worked too damn hard for too damn long to have you screw this up for me. At least you will die with honor, and you will be richly rewarded to rule in hell for your sacrifice. Just accept this gift and die with some dignity for freak's sake, instead of being a wimpy little bitch. Chase pinned her arms down and tightened the ropes even more, since Oliver's struggling did loosen the rope just a little bit. He did not wish for her to get away, not while he was so close to his objective. Lauren's countenance fell even more than it had already fallen when she first found out that she may have made a huge mistake by accepting Chase's offer to be the goddess of tonight's festival. As soon as Chase had finished screaming at her, and her face twisted up hideously as she began to cry. "Please, sir, help me. He's gone insane. He's turned into a monster." Chase drew back his hand again and backhanded Lauren so hard across the face that he left a big red hand mark on her beautiful face, temporarily marring the beauty that she held, that seemed so unable to be scathed seconds earlier. Felix pointed the gun at Chase as he was striking Lauren. I know what you're thinking about now. This is some demonic occult type book, but it's actually a Christian book. And, if you buy it and read it, you'll see that. And I actually wrote this quite a few years before the Epstein stuff came out. So I think this goes beautifully with it. Talking about, rituals, satanic ritual abuse, blood drinking, and all this other crap. Even though this is a work of fiction, it's based on biblical principles and things that actually do happen in our world. So if you're interested, I'll read a little more at another time. But I'm not going to give too much of it away because you need to get the book to find out what happens. It is very thick. It's long. It's about a little over 500 pages. But it's actually a very easy read. And it is very interesting. I mean, even though I wrote it and I read it over and over again, I'm actually amazed that I put something like this together. Because I worked on it for a very long time, like adding to it and like shaping it, and there's things I've changed many times and over and over again until I got the finished product. Because it's not like I could just sit down and just do nothing but write. I had to work and do this and that off and on over the years. So anyway, I'm quite pleased with the outcome, and I'm not trying to be like prideful or anything like that. I know I might not be the best writer in the world, but I know I can write. So, and I hope y'all enjoyed the little sneak peek. And if you're interested, just let me know and I'll read some more of that chapter. I'll pick up where I left off. All right. Thank you guys. Love you. Have a great weekend.